words of appreciation for those that are here. I mean, many companies have come to our campus, some of them for the first time. And so I spoke to the students that have participated in the project and the faculty that have brought the project up to here, thanking them for the effort, and of course to Luis, who has spearheaded most of this. But I also spoke to the companies that have visited the campus with a notion which is, I mean, at Nova, we are trying not just to work for civil society, not just to work for companies, but we want to do it with them. Because I think it's only when you work with the people that you want to serve. I mean, we work with our students because we want to serve our students. We work with the companies because we want to serve the companies. And it's only when you work with the people that you want to serve on this spirit of open innovation is when you actually make more progress, and that's the effort that we're trying to do in our school, but also especially in this project. The other point that I mentioned was about the project in particular. And this has to do with the idea of making innovation that is really relevant. Okay? And the comparison I made with the gravitational waves that we've just found, it's great, but it's taken 100 years. We need that, but we also need clear, effective solutions for the problems that companies have today. Portuguese companies need to increase their productivity. Portuguese companies need to find solutions to become more international. Portuguese companies need to find solutions to actually deal with the challenges of every day. I am very hopeful, and I think the methodology that has been developed and we've been using here at school is going to be useful not just for the school but also for the companies that are going to get involved. So Luis, I'll let you go on with your demonstration, and I thank you very, very much for.
Thank you, Daniel.
All that the school has benefited from this. Thank you. Don, please.
So first of all, I would like to thank all of you for being here, because I think it's a very special moment. Basically, is the summary of 20 years of research that led to this statement, basically, that you have here in front. I would say this is my drive for the last 20 years. For many years, for those of you that have been following my research, I've been trying to understand how to solve global and local problems. And for 20 years, I was trying to connect the dots to come up with a formula, to come up with a solution to do so, okay? So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you what led to that formula, and then I will present you the formula, and then we're going to have many people here presenting their particular case, how did they apply the Diana framework that you have in front of you, as well as the Tiago framework that you have in front of you. It's not a coincidence. Diana is the name of my daughter, and Tiago is the name of my son. Diana is the theoretical framework that summarizes all the theory, and Tiago is the applied framework that companies have been using to develop customized approaches to the market. So what led me to this framework is, for the last 20 years, I was trying to understand how to solve paradoxes. I found out people that were solution-driven, other people who were problem-driven. I found out people that it's all about improvisation and people that it's all about planning. I found out people that it's all about being structured, everything by the rules. It's like this conference is structured within a certain freedom. I have other people that are extremely flexible, and so on and so on. You're going to see many examples here, okay? When we think about international markets, we're going to have here some presentations about that particular topic. You have people that believe that we should standardize across markets, for example, to benefit from economies of scale. We have a lot of people that say, no, we should satisfy local needs. And this is what creates tension, and this also, to a certain extent, explains why problems are not being solved. So what you're going to see here today is a framework that allows you to solve paradoxes. The image is exactly the same. But you have people that are convinced that this lady is dancing clockwise. I will have another group of people that is convinced that the lady is dancing anti-clockwise. And I'm going to have another group of people that will be convinced that the lady is dancing both clockwise and anti-clockwise. Now imagine that I'm trying to convince you that this lady can dance the three ways. You're going to shoot me, because if you only see the lady dancing clockwise, you're going to say Luis is crazy. But those of you that will see the lady dancing on the three directions, clockwise, anti-clockwise, and both, you're going to say Luis is a genius, okay? So what I'm going to show you now is the lady dancing. And I'm going to ask you to raise your hand if you see the lady dancing only clockwise, okay? Carmen. Only 3 people in the audience. Impressive. And how many of you can see the lady dancing both clockwise and anti-clockwise? Okay, so we are speaking about 35% of the audience. I'm showing you there are people that think like this, there are people that think like this, and there are some people that can see both solutions and problems. In other words, you have people that are problem-driven, you have people that are solution-driven, and you have people that can do both. There is nothing right or wrong with being just one or the other. The thing is, how can we integrate all these people? How can we put them together to solve a common problem? That's the secret. So, after trying to understand this for the last 20 years, and I guarantee it was not easy at all, I arrived to the Diana framework, okay? Then I can share with you the scientific paper that was published on JDR. You just need to send an email to vcw@novsp.pt, okay? And on that paper, you're going to see all the theory that is behind this. So once we did the Diana framework, I thought, okay, but we need to bring this to companies. We need to bring this to consultancy. We need to bring this to research labs. We need to put this into practice. And it's precisely the framework that you have in front of you. The one with a lot of colors, is the Diana. Diana is, it's my daughter. She's extremely creative. She's always thinking with out of the box, no box, inside the box, very much this kind of structure, okay? However, if I approach a company and I say, you have to think in the box, out of the box, no box, they're going to say, this guy is crazy for sure. If I approach them and I say, you have to do this, with the left brain, with the right brain, with both brains, they're going to say, what is going on here, okay? So I had to come up with a very pragmatical tool that companies could use. So the name of that tool is the Tiago Framework that you're going to see here in this presentation with very concrete cases and with application of that framework, okay? So the research that I was telling about that led to Diana Framework basically is a research that was published in many scientific journals across the years. And then you can go to the website and you'll see that each one of those papers is a small part of a huge puzzle, which is this framework. So without those small papers, I'll never arrive to the Diana framework. Now, if you ask me 20 years ago, was I thinking about the Diana framework? Of course not. It's like Steve Jobs say, you cannot connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect the dots looking backward. And that's what I did. I connect the dots looking backwards. At that time, I had a single drive, which is I need to solve problems, global and local problems. That's it. That was my vision. Now, if you ask me, will this arrive to a Diana framework? Of course not. I had no idea to what would arrive, okay? In order to solve the problems, I did partnerships with many people, companies. I'm looking there to Nuno. I'm looking to Nuno. We were, for example, at Warwick University together. Nuno was doing in physics. And, for example, Nuno does not appear here, but I'm sure during those 4 years I was with Nuno, I'm sure to a certain extent he contributed to this framework. If you tell me where, I don't know, but probably one day I'm speaking with Nuno and they said, you were this part of the puzzle, okay? So that's the way things work. Now I'm going to ask, for you to see the kind of challenges we are trying to solve, I'm going to ask Claudia Seabra to open the door, which is for you to understand what is the drive. Where is Claudia? Here, okay.
My name is Claudia Seabra, and I'm starting a post-PhD project. And we are dealing with a really global and local problem. It's about terrorism. And we have funding, I have funding from the Foundation for Science and Technology for 6 years. And I'm going to research which is the real impact of terrorism on people's life. And because it's a too complex problem, because we are too involved, is too present, and there are so many approaches, so many perspectives from residents, from tourists, from governments, from companies, and it's really a too complex phenomenon. So we think that this framework will help us to solve this and to answer the questions that are really important about this.
Thank you, Claudia. Jeffrey, would you like to say what is your next challenge on Tropic Man that George here is coordinating?
Well,
You spell Tropic Man, not everybody knows. They think it should be Tropic
Tropic with a K.
Capital K.
Capital K is important. I think Jeffrey can do better than he's do you mind to stand up, Jeffrey, so everybody can see you?
Good day, everyone. My name is Jeffrey Fulani, Mozambique. I'm gonna say like this. And I'm a student of PhD in Tropical Knowledge and Management here at Nova SBA. Well,
You did a speech.
To guide myself. This is quite new, and I accepted the challenge in order to see how can I do and complete my research using this framework. And my research question is, how can the national health system improve access and promote use of health services to women who are both infected by HIV/AIDS and cervical cancer in Mozambique? Well, the problem is there is a lack of an effective program in the country that integrates different HIV/AIDS related illnesses. And the way I will use valid creative will is trying to strengthen the national health system in order to be more consumer-driven, creating services that are more adequate to national health profile and national health predictions. Based in a case study that will be supported by theory, I hope and expect that this research will bring an integrative and holistic response to HIV and related illnesses in Mozambique by adding a management value and new creative approaches. So this is a brief introduction of what can happen, and it's also
So that will be our journey for the next 4 years, correct? If George does not push you towards 10 years.
No pressure.
No pressure, no pressure. Thank you very much, Jeffrey. Thank you. So this is the stage where Jeffrey is and Claudia is the initial stage of the framework, okay? Which is, everything is still cloudy. So the what is not clear, the how is not clear, the why is not clear. They are still in the discovering stage. They are just starting the project now, okay? So these are very early projects. That's why you still don't have a very clear elevator pitch, correct? It's perfectly normal. They are starting now a 6-year journey to achieve a certain goal. In the case of Jeffrey, I hope it's a 3-year journey or 4. But to solve the problem of AIDS, I don't know, probably is more a life journey, okay? So once you start understanding the context, you move to the next stage. What is the next stage? The next stage is you need to define extremely well what is the research question. And to give you 2 examples, I'm going to ask Álvaro. Álvaro, would you like just to say which kind of research questions you are analyzing?
Good morning, my name is Álvaro Dias. I'm a professor at the Instituto Superior de Gestão, and I'm working with Professor Lages 3 years ago. And my work is on the field of dynamic capabilities, and more precisely, we are trying to identify tools to identify problems, opportunities and challenges. In order to do so, we developed a scale, a measure for sensing capabilities of market opportunities, which is composed by 4 dimensions: analytical processes, organizational articulation, business knowledge and customer relationships. We are ongoing on this project.
And you are looking for partners now?
Yes, and of course I'm interested. If you are interested, talk with me at the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Albert. Graça, would you like to say what is your research question, what you have been working for the last decades?
My name is Graça Silva. I am the assistant professor at the Lisbon School of Economics and Management, and I have been working with Luis for the last 10 years. Very, very hard work. So our research tried to find what are the key determinants of export performance, and our findings reveals that product quality, product innovation, and relationship capabilities are the key, the major determinants of export performance. We are now looking at topics in the fields of sustainability, quality management, and radical innovation. So, if you like to work with us, please contact me.
Very well. So then we move to the stage of the framework, which is increase, brainstorming of ideas, okay? What is this part of the framework? Is in order to solve any problem, in order to address any challenge, crisis, whatever, you need to have an explosion of ideas. This part is known as increase. To do so, you need to use your imagination, you need to use your intuition, you need to use your intellect, and so on, okay? I'm going to now ask just a PhD student of mine that is currently at MIT to speak about the kind of work that she's working on. Just to give you a context, she has been working for many years. So I have, for many years, trying to understand the people that are more skeptical, people that are more resistant to change, people that question everything, okay? Like in academia, you know, we like to question everything by definition. And normally companies, organizations, they exclude these people from the brainstorming stage. Why? Because they create too many problems. So nobody cares about them. It's as simple as that, okay? And I fall in love with those people, you know? I fall in love with them. Why? Because they question everything. So they are the ones that think left, to think right, to think both directions, and so on. So I started a project when I was at MIT 5 years ago. At that time, I was visiting MIT, and then I spoke with Eric von Nippel, which is a professor on lead user innovation, and I asked him, Eric, why are you not studying the laggards? Why you only care about innovators? Then I spoke with people in the Martin field, and they say, why do you only care about the majority? So basically, the Martin literature, innovation literature, simply killed this topic because it's not sexy, okay? So I decided to look to this topic. Meanwhile, a PhD student of mine fell in love with that particular topic. She started working with me during the master's, then the PhD, and now she's at MIT. And guess what? The Wall Street Journal got interested now on the topic about 2 weeks ago. And the topic that was not sexy, from the day to the night, becomes an explosion, viral. Everybody cares. All the Portuguese newspaper cares. All the media cares. All the international media cares, and so on. This is just to prove you that this is the difference between an idiot and a genius. The idiot is the guy that is studying laggards, and nobody cares. The genius is the moment that appears on the Wall Street Journal. The difference is 5 seconds. So until those 1 second, the moment they put online, because as you know, the coverage of Wall Street Journal is billions, millions of executives across the world, okay? So now Sarah will speak a bit, about the research she's doing with me and what are her most recent findings, okay? Hello, Sarah. Can you hear us?
As Luis already mentioned, the second phase of the VCW is about brainstorming of ideas. And the challenge in this phase is that companies normally look at a certain group of people who love their products and ignore the rest. However, in order to grow and remain competitive, they need to have the whole perspective and also listen to those who are skeptical toward innovations and act as devil's advocate. So the people who are normally excluded from the idea generation are the late adopters. Those are the users who are adopting to the products last. So this is the topic I've been working on with Luis in the past couple of years, which is late adopters of technology-based products, services, breakthrough and incremental innovations. So as product life cycles speed up, these consumers are a growing and increasingly influential group. In order to take advantage of late adopters, the first essential step is to identify them. So we have developed a measurement scale, which is called the late adopter scale, which helps companies identify who are late adopters. Once we identify them, we figure out that these users think very differently from the other users, so we needed a customized method to involve them in the idea generation. That's why our second step was to develop the live user method, a 7-step new product development method, which is designed to coach late adopters and laggards to come up with new ideas. So ideas provided by late adopters and laggards can help companies remain competitive, increase value while cutting costs, extend the product life cycle, and cross ahead. Now, both these projects have been already published in academic journals and also featured in the international press, starting with the Wall Street Journal. So what is our vision for this project? Our vision for this project is to help companies understand the importance of late adopters and to coach them to value the contribution of late adopters and laggards to their idea generation and new product development process. And our next step would be to explore this more and to better understand the determinants of late adoption. So currently we are looking for partners from business and academia to expand this and explore this topic more. If any of you out there is interested, feel free to contact me or Luis. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. I'll come back to you later on, okay? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, bye-bye. Okay, so I'll now speed up because as you see, I could speak for hours and hours about this. Indeed, I could speak for years about this because I could bring out my co-authors. Daniel Traça, for example, was speaking that at Nova, when we moved to now we are on the SES stage, we are solving with different directors of Nova different problems here that range from IT to human resource management to the Lisbon MBA and so on, okay? So each director has a particular problem, and of course we have now a team from the VCW working on that, okay? Jose has been helping me on the topic of how to make the right balance between standardization, adaptation, and so on. And what we did is we studied companies from Visio.
Hello, my name is Jose Luís. I'm the Polytechnic Institute of Visio. And in 2008, the problem I intend to address with Luis was to solve the paradox of being local and to obtain economies of scale and at the same time to satisfy the customer needs in each local market. So we, to address this problem, we work with more than 80 companies, industrial companies in Visio.
Okay, thank you very much. If you are from that area, if you want to work with Jose on this particular topic, internationalization and so on, feel free to contact him, okay? Andrew Lancastre, I have here Filipe that is going to say some words.
Hello, my name is Filipe Lancastre and I'm currently a PhD student myself. About a decade ago, my father was a PhD student under the same supervision of Luís Lage. And they they had the insight of understanding how important relationships and stakeholder involvement was to organizational success. And so they studied how they could measure the relationships. And they have analyzed 400 SMEs in the context of an e-marketplace, an electronic marketplace. And so these 400, the name of this electronic marketplace was BND Link, and it was a consortium between Caixa Geral de Depósitos, Portugal Telecom, and BES. And these 400 SMEs enabled them to find out what were the important dimensions, the constituents of the relationships. They came up with a scale to measure the performance of relationships and a scorecard that enabled companies to measure the relevance of their relationships.
Thank you very much, Filipe. So now we're going to have Cristiana, that in 1 minute will say the kind of work she has been doing. Hello, Cristiana.
Hi. Hello everyone. My name is Cristiana Lages, and I'm an associate professor at the University of Reading in the UK. And thank you, Luis, for the opportunity to participate in this event. I believe that we want to connect our REL scaled paper with the wheel you have been discussing so far. Is the quality of the sound okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah? So, with regard to our paper, the REL scale, initially we started by acknowledging that it is hard not only to establish, develop, and maintain any type of relationship, but also it is very hard to measure the quality of any relationship. So, in order to measure the quality of this relationship across borders, the challenge is even higher. So, in order to address this problem, we decided to measure the quality of the relationship between importers and exporters. And now, the most interesting part comes, that is, after studying British companies, we actually found that a better quality relationship can be achieved if there is a greater amount of information sharing, better quality of communication, a longer-term orientation by both companies, as well as satisfaction with the relationship. From a managerial perspective, and most important, is the fact that actually, ultimately, the relationship quality is associated positively with different performance types. And these include financial performance, strategic and satisfaction with export venture. So at the moment, I'm still looking at relationships. I'm a bit more focused on a business-to-consumer relationship context in services. So I know that this event is also about creating partnerships. So if you are working on service management, please feel free to contact me. Okay. Thank you very much for your time.
And now I'm really arriving to the end, so I give the word to the people that are the practitioners, okay, the ones that do this in the place and so on, namely Deimos Engenharia. Many projects are going on. You're going to see some of them later on, okay? Namely this partnership between Casa da Moeda, NCM, and Evry. So they're going to speak about this project very soon, okay, the partnership that we have together with Casa da Moeda. And Rita, where is Rita? Rita is going to speak about a project that is conducting at Nova Escola Doutoral, okay? And something I would like you to think about is how can you bring added value to the value creation wheel? Because as you see, this is not something mine. This is something that over the years has been developing, is being followed by many, many people, many companies, many consultancy firms, many master students. The number of students I had, the other day I was doing the counts, I had over 4,000 students for the last 20 years. So it's impossible to thank all of them in the paper, but I'm sure some of those students, they really contributed to this. I'm really going to close. I think Deborah is helping me with the value creation wheel. She's the one, the Tiago, she brings me to land. You know, I'm always there, and Deborah is the one putting me on the floor. So this first part of the session was about research, because I strongly believe it should exist a strong link between research, science, and practice, okay? So if you are interested on exploring the research topic, the science topic, and so on, feel free to contact me or any of the people that spoke here in the audience, okay? Now we're going to move to the practitioner-oriented part, which is the value creation wheel applied to very specific projects, very concrete projects. We're going to have the case of 3 companies. We're going to have the case of Filipe later on. She's going to speak about her PhD program. And we're going to have the case of Rita. Okay.
My name is Luis Rodrigues. I'm the head of our executive education school. And I'm also an assistant teacher here. And one of my jobs is to push him to the limits to create something really big. We are, as you know, Latins in general and Portuguese in particular, very bad at selling and promoting ourselves. In this world, there is no reason for us not to succeed anymore in doing that. We have an objective of creating a global leading business school, and we have an objective of creating a global leading framework. There is no reason in this digital world not to achieve that, okay? And we are, if you think about the country economy in particular, Europe in general and Portugal in particular, there's one topic that has been eating the headlines consistently over the last decades, which is the need to grow. The only topic that matches that in consuming media time is excuses not to grow, okay? And that's simply not acceptable anymore. We need to grow, period. This school has some addictions. One of them is growth, okay? We have been growing 30% for the last 5 years every year. And when you think we are going to stop and stabilize, no. We're going to build a new campus in Carcavelos, to which you are welcome to help funding. And that is going to double our capacity, and we're going to keep on growing like that. And we also have another addiction, which is, as Danielle said, and we said, the addiction of working with the market, with the companies, with the people. Not just for the sake of doing some theoretical stuff, but it has to be applied in practice. And this is where Tiago comes from, which is the kid, is also from Benfica as well, that I know. And that's why I'm...
You see, it's blue, but beginning is blue and white.
So let's watch some real...
Benfica is the red, you see there?
It's the girl. Thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you. What we're going to do now is we're going to do just a 5-minute break, and then we're going to move to the practice-oriented part, okay?